Hello students, I am Iqbal Kaur, lecturer in biology. Welcome to another session on plant kingdom where we will learn about bryophytes and pteridophytes. Today's learning objectives are to help you develop an understanding of the characteristic features and the life cycle of bryophytes and pteridophytes, to enable you to identify the similarities and differences between the life pattern of bryophytes and pteridophytes, to help you appreciate the economic importance of bryophytes and their role in succession, to help you appreciate the role of pteridophytes in developing the seed habit in the plants, to develop your observation and drawing skills, to help you to appreciate the biodiversity of the flora of our country and understand its importance, and to help you to relate your classroom knowledge with your daily life. In the previous session, we have already learned about 5 kingdom classification and we have discussed algae under the plant kingdom. Within the alga group, we have learned about chlorophyceae, phaeophyceae and rhodophyceae. Today, we will learn about the next 2 groups of plant kingdom such as bryophytes and pteridophytes, the division of bryophytes into liverworts and mosses and the division of pteridophytes into horsetails and ferns. In rainy season and high humidity conditions, you must have seen that some walls or some stones and tree gets covered with the growth of green color small plants. Even roofs sometimes get greenish tinge. At first, you may think this is algae growing on it. If you observe them closely by using a hand lens, you will see that this growth is due to tiny green plants which have tiny leaves. They belong to the group of plant kingdom Bryophyta. So, let us try to understand what these bryophytes are. Bryo in Bryophyta comes from a Greek word bryos, which means tree moss or oyster green, and phyta means plants. These tiny plants, bryophytes, are classified into 2 groups based on their body forms. The first one is the liverworts. They have lobed leaves just like the lobes of liver. The liver comes from a Greek word hepata, which means liver-like, and wort means small plants. Thus, these plants are called liverworts. I hope you must have seen green color plants in your moss stick, which is used to give support to your money plant. Yes, this is one of the second group of bryophytes called moss. The scientific study of bryophytes is called bryology. The people who love to observe, record and do research on bryophytes are called as bryologists. Bryophytes exist in wide variety of habitats. They can be found in extremely cold regions as well as in deserts, but most of them they are commonly found in hilly areas and they prefer moist, shady, humid and damp places where no direct sunlight reaches. They are found in relatively unpolluted area where there is abundance of trees and other plants. Just like lichens, these plants are also sensitive to sulfur dioxide content in the atmosphere. In this picture, you can see both moss and liverworts growing together on the bark of tree. Bryophytes are believed to be evolved from some alga. Alga is mainly aquatic and bryophytes have evolved and adapted themselves to grow on land. Although they grow on land, the reproductive cycle of bryophytes cannot be completed without water. So, they are also called as amphibians of plant kingdom. The plant body grows prostrate, which means they grow dorsoventrally flat on the ground. The dorsoventrally flat means the upper and lower surface are distinguishable. Such type of plant body is seen in liverworts. In mosses, the plant body grows erect. In both cases, no vascular tissue is present, so they are thalloid organisms, but the plant body is more differentiated than that of alga. The main plant body is gametophyte and is haploid. It is multicellular. The plant body is attached to the substrate by unicellular or multicellular root-like structures called rhizoids. Remember, there are no true roots, stem or leaves in bryophytes. As vascular tissue is absent, this makes them different from other land plants. Some bryophytes have conducting tissue, but not as developed as xylem and phloem. So, we can say that bryophytes possess root-like, stem-like and leaf-like structures. Rhizoids can be seen in this picture. It is clear in the picture and are marked by arrows. These plants in the picture which we can see are haploid and is main plant body. This produces the male and female gametes within these umbrella shaped structures. Can you tell me why it is called gametophyte? It is called gametophyte because gametes are produced by the main haploid plant. Gametes are produced within special structures called gametophores. You can see male and female gametophores as marked by the arrows in the given figures. During evolution, for adapting themselves to the land plants, the sex organs developed a covering called a jacket layer to prevent themselves from drying out. The male sex organs are called antheridium. In this picture, you can see the jacket layer which surrounds antheridium. Antheridia are produced within the specialized structures called antheridiophore. Each cell within antheridium produces a biflagellate antherozoids. These swim in the water to reach the female gamete to fertilize. If no water is present, the antherozoids fail to reach the female gamete. The female sex organs are called archegonium. They are flask shaped structures covered by the jacket layer. They are produced within specialized structures called archegoniophores. In the given picture, you can see archegoniophore. Many archegonia are produced on one archegoniophore and only one egg is present at the base of each flask shaped archegonia. The fusion of male and female gamete occurs within the archegonia. Antherozoids swim in water to reach the mouth of archegonia, and after the fertilization, zygote is formed. Zygote does not undergo reductional division immediately. A multicellular sporophyte develops from a zygote and remains attached on the gametophyte. This means that now archegoniophore has sporophytes instead of archegonia. The sporophyte is not free living. It derives its nutrition from gametophyte. Within sporophyte, some special cells of capsule undergo meiosis and produce haploid spores. The sporophyte dies when they dry out and spores are liberated. These spores, when germinate, develop into a new gametophyte. These are the common features of all the bryophytes. Now, we will discuss some unique features of liverworts and mosses separately. In liverworts, asexual reproduction takes place by fragmentation. Each lobe, if separated from the parent body, grows into a new plants. There is another specialized structure called gemma through which asexual reproduction takes place. These are green multicellular asexual buds that develop on small receptacles called as gemma cups. As you can see in the picture, these gemma cups are located on the dorsal surface of the thallus. The gemma in gemma cups looks like eggs in the bird nest. The gemma detaches from the parent body and then germinates upon falling on a suitable surface. Now, let us see how mosses are unique. The predominant stage is gametophyte. This means it is the main plant body. Unlike liverworts, the gametophyte has further two stages. The first stage is the protonema stage. Protonema develops directly from the spore. Remember, in liverworts, there was no protonema stage. It is creeping, green, branched and filamentous stage, just like branched filamentous algae. Some scientists consider that this stage is evidence for the algal ancestors of bryophytes. The second stage is the leafy stage. The leafy stage develops from the secondary protonema as the lateral bud as shown in the diagram. The leafy stage consists of an upright cylinder axis bearing spirally arranged leaves. They are attached to the soil through multicellular and branched rhizoids. This stage bears sex organs. Remember, all bryophytes are monoecious with exception to Mercantia. It is dioecious with separate male and female thalli. As you can see in the picture of Funaria, Antheridium develops on the male branch and Archegonium develops on the female branch of the same plant, thus is monoecious. After fertilization, the sporophyte develops, which is again dependent on the gametophyte. The rest of the sexual structures in mosses are the same as in liverworts. Sporophyte of a moss plant has distinct regions, foot, seta and a capsule as shown in the diagram. Spores develop only within the capsule after meiosis. Let us recapitulate the whole thing in the form of a life cycle. The main plant body of bryophytes is haploid gametophyte. It produces male and female sex organs, and from the male and female sex organs, male and female gametes are formed. These male and female gametes fuse to form a diploid zygote. The zygote then develops into a sporophyte which is attached to the gametophyte. Within sporophyte, haploid spores are produced after meiosis. These spores germinate to form a gametophyte. Although very small in size, bryophytes play a very important role. They act as food for some herbaceous mammals, birds and other animals. The species Sphagnum, as shown in the picture, has very good water holding capacity and hence it is used for packaging during shipment of live material. It also forms peat which is used as fuel. Moss and lichen are the pioneer organisms during xerophytic succession. They decompose rocks to form soil which is useful for the growth of higher plants. In this picture, you can see both moss and liverworts growing on a rock wall. Mosses form dense mats on the soil. This reduces the impact of rain, thus preventing soil erosion. The next higher and advanced group of seedless and flowerless plants is pteridophytes. They are called cryptogams, which means that their reproduction is hidden. These plants truly evolve into first land plants. They are considered to be growing since even before the dinosaurs were present on this earth, and they continue to flourish today in many parts of the world and prefer to grow in cool, moist and shady regions. Pterido in Greek means feather and phytes means plants. So, these plants with feather like look are called pteridophytes. You must have seen such plants in your garden and in your surroundings. They are divided further into two groups, namely horsetails and ferns. Pteridophytes are evolutionary advanced group of plants because these are the first terrestrial plants that possesses vascular tissue. That means they have conducting tissue such as xylem and phloem. You have already studied about xylem and phloem in class 9th. They have a well differentiated plant body as xylem and phloem are present. They have true roots, stem and leaves. The leaves of pteridophytes are called fronds. These fronds can be very small in size. Such fronds are called microphylls as in Selaginella. It has a single vein in them, or they can be very large, macrophylls as in ferns. They have multiple veins in them. You can see in this picture to compare the size of macrophyll with me. Unlike bryophytes, the main plant body is diploid sporophyte. The leaves or special structures bear spores. So, these leaves are called sporophylls. If you look at ventral side of the leaf, then you will find some black or brown color sori which are the clusters of sporangium. Spores are produced within these sporangia. All these structures can be seen in these pictures. The first one is showing the abaxial surface of the leaf. The second one is showing beautiful sporangia, and in the third one you can see spores too. Upon germination, these spores give rise to an independent green color gametophyte called prothallus. The prothallus bear male and female sex organs called antheridia and archegonia respectively. Water is required for the transfer of entherozoites to reach the mouth of archegonium. The fusion of male gamete with the egg present in the archegonium results in the formation of zygote. Thereafter, the zygote develops into the sporophyte. In the given image, you can see the sporophyte developing from prothallus where archegonia are present, antheridia after fertilization perish. In the majority of pteridophytes, all the spores are of similar kind. Such plants are called homosporous. However, genera like Selaginella and Salvinia, which produce two kinds of spore, macro, large one, and micro, small one, are known as heterosporous. Such spores may have different structures, size and function. The large one is a megaspore and germinates into female gamete, whereas the smaller one is microspore and germinates into male gametophyte. Let us try to understand this by taking an example of Selaginella. Some sporophylls are arranged into compact structures called strobili. In this picture, you can see strobili bearing microspores and megaspores. The megaspores and microspores are formed in the strobili. The megaspores and microspores germinate and give rise to female and male gametophytes respectively. The female gametophyte starts germinating when the megaspore is still inside the megasporangium, thus is retained on the parent sporophyte for variable periods. The development of zygote into young embryo takes place within the female gametophyte. This event is considered as precursor to the seed habit and an important step in evolution. Let us now recapitulate the whole thing in the form of a life cycle. The main plant body here is the diploid sporophyte. They produce spores by meiosis on sporophylls. These spores can be homosporous or heterosporous. The spores germinate to form male and female gametophyte. This gametophyte produces male and female gametes. Gametes fuse to form zygote, which is diploid. The zygote develops into embryo and then to sporophyte. Pteridophyta are classified into four main classes. The first class is Psilopsida. This class is considered the most primitive one and the members are known only as fossil plants. An example is Psilotum. The next class is Lycopsida. They are commonly known as club moss. An example is Selaginella. The third class of Pteridophyta is Sphenopsida, commonly known as horsetails. An example is Equisetum. And the fourth class is Pterocida. They are the most common plants and are commonly known as ferns. Examples are Dryopteris, Pteris and Adiantum. Pteridophytes are economically important group of plants. Pteridophytes are used for medicinal purposes. They also act as soil binders. They are frequently grown as ornamentals. Evolutionary, they are the first terrestrial plants to possess vascular tissue, xylem and phloem. The habit of pteridophytes is considered an important step in evolution which gave rise to seed habit in plants. Let us visit our session again by taking a quick recap. We have learned about different body forms of bryophytes, the special asexual reproductive structures, gemma present in Merkensia. We have learned about sexual reproductive structures, how fertilization occurs, two substages of gametophytes in mosses and its life cycle. We have also learned about characteristic features of pteridophytes such as its different body forms and reproductive structures present on sporophylls, formation of prothallus and its life cycle. We have also learned that pteridophytes are believed to be precursor of seed habit in other advanced group of plants. Here is an assignment for you. Have you ever seen such green growth on walls or outer surface of pots? Have you ever seen plants in the picture shown below? observe such plants carefully and try to identify the structural details. Try to find out which group they belong to, bryophytes or pteridophytes. In the next session, we will learn about the general characteristics, unique features and life cycle of first seed plants, gymnosperms. Hope you enjoyed today's learning. See you in next session. Till then, goodbye.